The alpine peaks and mossy forest of Yakushima drops dramatically quickly to sandy shores. But I've not just come down here to get away from the cold. I've come to find some very special Japanese macaques. This is a really hardy and resourceful species, but this particular troop is one of the most studied and the most special in the whole world. Wonderful, constant echoing of sounds around this gully here. The reason for that is that before we turned up here, this would have been pretty much silent. But us coming here has provided a source of interest for the group. All of a sudden, there's something for them all to be commenting on. They have different degrees of tonality to them, and each different squeak would be quite similar to a phrase that you or I might use. This is a really good-sized troop. I mean, they can get up to about 100, and I'd say this is pushing that, actually. There's monkeys absolutely everywhere. I would never normally suggest feeding of wild animals. All these little scraps that are going on as the feeding's taking place is very characteristic of feeding behaviour in primates. There's a strict structure about who gets fed first, and if you get in the way of it, a fight starts. But the feeding of these macaques, which has been going on for about 50 years, has led to some very special understanding of behaviour in primates, and in particular of Japanese macaques. These two here have stopped scrabbling. I'll tell you about it. Quieten down, chaps.
Back in the 50s, a young female took a potato thrown onto the beach and washed it in a stream. It was the first time this behaviour had ever been witnessed, and slowly it spread through the group, with youngsters and females keen to follow her lead, and the grown males least interested to learn. Later, a monkey discovered how to separate wheat from wet sand. She threw fistfuls of the mix into the sea, and then she could pick up the floating wheat while the sand grains sank. It's simple but effective, and soon the whole troop had learned her trick and even seemed to like the salty taste. More recently, this group have learned from each other how to eat shellfish, even how to swim, and each new generation picks it up by watching and imitation. Together, all these innovations build up their common knowledge, and that's what we'd call culture, whether we're talking monkeys or humans.
It's quite something to think that just a few weeks ago, I was watching dancing cranes in the snows of Hokkaido, and now I'm sharing a sandy beach with Japanese macaques, and we're in the same country.
These extremes reflect Japan as a whole, urban and congested, yet also silent and wild. Whilst plundering the seas, they brought back cranes from the verge of extinction and preserved whole islands like this one for wildlife.